So in the most recent Nintendo Direct, we got a lot shown off to us, and it's got me excited this year for Nintendo. We got Pikmin 4, Splatoon 3 expansion, Game Boy and GBA games coming to Switch Online, Metroid's remaster, Professor Layton's back, and the most important thing of it was Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom, which looks amazing. However, there was something else, something that's changed the game, something that's literally just flipped everyone's heads upside down and showed that Nintendo isn't just using it as a cash grab and actually cares, and that is, wait for the Mario Kart 8 Booster Goals Pass. I couldn't believe it. Nintendo was actually putting thought and effort into the track design instead of just copy and pasting it from Tour, and it becomes a squashed down, claustrophobic mess. I'm not saying they don't put any, thought and effort into the track's design, but you can clearly see the difference between this track and a track like Shroom Ridge, something like that. Obviously, they're still good, but this one looks like they've just went, yeah, we've messed up a bit here, so we're gonna sort this out and show that we can still make good tracks that's on par with the main game. Now this gives me hope for the future waves, because the old tracks that are coming back could get the same treatment as the base game, but also the newer tracks that are coming could get the same treatment as this one, instead of just being, an oval. Now it's funny, because this isn't even the main part that was shown about this wave. Probably the most important part is that Birdo is coming back. Yeah, Birdo. You wouldn't think that, this dinosaur thing that's related to Yoshi now for some reason could change the game, literally. This shows, even though we're in the late game of the Booster Course Pass, we could still get new things. Like, we're in Wave 4 now, and we've got a new character, and there's going to be one each wave, I think. I don't know how many, but that's what we're going to discuss today, and also if the code has anything else new. So let's get into the future of the Booster Course Pass. So first we're going to go over the characters I think are going to make it into the game. Now, I'm going to go off the track prefixes that people have found, because if we link the characters to specific tracks, then they're probably the ones that are going to get in, because there's future tracks that make sense to add that character with, like the new one in Tour, Piranha Cove. Now, I'm not going off what Nintendo says all the time, because there's no way in this wave that we don't get my first character prediction, Kamek. There is no way. You have a Yoshi Island track and there's no representation of Kamek in there, and he's the main villain of it. So the most sense would be to make him a playable character, but I'm presuming they might not do that, but it would just be stupid to do that. Now, my next character that I'm going to predict is one of the most likely I've picked to get in the game, and it's a fan favourite, Diddy Kong. There are two main reasons for this, but it has to be in this wave. First reason is there's a GameCube track, so this track could be DK Mountain, and what better way to put DK Mountain in with a DK character. But also, there is a track with no prefix on, and there's been data mines of a track that could be based on the Donkey Kong Country series, so it would make sense to put Diddy Kong in as well with that. So he's probably the most likely, as long as it's in this wave. Now, my next character that I'm going to predict to be added is technically a new one, but since they're revolving this Booster Course Pass around Tour, and there's a lot of Tour tracks in here, I believe that the next character is going to be Pauline. It would make so much sense since she's such a mainline character now, and she's even going to be in the Mario movie. And it was also contradict with Diddy Kong sort of, instead of, just putting another Kong with him like Dixie or Funky, but I'll get back to that. So it was kind of make sense, and if we get Mushroom City as a track, it would make sense for her to come with that, because it's the city, but also there's the Tour tracks as well, so she could get him for that. Now, this next character I think's got a good chance, just like Diddy Kong, and that is because of a track that's been added to Tour recently called Piranha Cove. It doesn't make sense to have this character with it, and that is Petey Piranha. He just fits into that track, considering it is based on him a lot and Piranha Plant. It doesn't make sense to add him, and he has been a fan favourite and needs to come back, in my opinion. He hasn't been seen since Mario Kart Double Dash, so get him back in that roster. Now, my final prediction for characters coming to the game is Funky Kong. It makes so much sense for him to come in this wave, considering the last track is a Wii track, and it's the Spiny Cup, so it's got to end with Rainbow Road. So if it's going to be Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road, it would make sense that that is represented with the iconic character from that game, Funky Kong. Fans have been begging for him to come back, and it would just make sense for him to come back at the last wave, since he's a big staple and meme in the Mario Kart franchise. Now, there could be more or less characters coming to the game, because I don't know how they're going to work the character roster, like selection screen. I'm thinking they're going to have their own row of 6 on the right side. Some people have said the bottom of 7, which makes sense as well, but it's Nintendo. And I don't think Nintendo would go out the way to put the clone characters with the actual characters as costumes, because then they would get laughed at. Now, if Nintendo does decide to feel generous, I reckon that we'll get King Bob-omb as the 7th character on the bottom row. The reason for that is, in the last wave, one of the tracks before the Wii one in the last cup is a GameCube one, and we haven't had any Bowser Castles yet, so it could be the GameCube one right before Rainbow Rose, because that's what they normally do. So maybe to represent as Bowser's army of minions, we could get King Bob-omb. Now, what if we could see character costumes come? There's a lot of characters in Tour that are just remakes of other characters with different outfits or colours. So what if we just gave them to some of the characters? Like, we could see Paratrooper back, but he just is an alternative style to Koopa Trooper. We could see just different outfits like Penguin Luigi. It probably won't happen because that'll be a lot for Nintendo, but I don't expect the other things to happen. Heck, I don't even expect most of my characters to get in the game. Now, I actually believe that we could get new items for 2 reasons. The first one is, last wave, when they decided to let us customise items, which was very random, there was 2 spots left. So it could just be that they've left them there, but I don't reckon they would do that. Considering if they add the new characters, like they're going to add Birdo first, there could be some spots left for the characters to fit in. So why would they do that for the items? Now, my other reason is Birdo. Since Birdo's been added so late into the Booster Course Pass and new characters will keep on getting added, maybe we could just see like 1 or 2 items get added in the final wave, or even the wave after this one, we don't know yet. But I don't think they will add new power-ups for one main reason. People who don't own the Booster Course Pass won't be able to get them, which would be unfair to them, because then there'll be other players that they're racing with who might have the Booster Course Pass online that can't use the items. But I suppose they could, if they're playing online with someone with the power-ups, then they would get them as well, since you get the tracks if you play with someone that owns it. The 2 items I'm going to predict are going to come from before Tour, for the main reason being, I don't think they're going to add new items from Tour to the game, like the coin block. But the items I'm going to predict from the older games, which will make the game very chaotic but so much fun, is the Mega Mushroom and the Bowser Shell. This would change the game entirely, like it would make it so much more chaotic but so much fun at the same time. And I reckon it would just be a great decision by Nintendo if they were to add these 2. You could add one with the other maybe, but if you added both, that's just gonna be chaos and just hell, but in a good way. Since they're adding loads of old tracks to the Booster Course Pass, maybe they could just decide, how about we add some to the battle? Because to be fair, the battle tracks are quite small. The most battle tracks we've had was in Wii, which was 10, 5 new and 5 old. But maybe they could add 2 more and get it to 10, or even more than Wii, to finally show that it's better than Wii. Because that's what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe loves to do. There's so many fan favourites they could add, like Block 4, Pipe Plaza, Twilight House, Delfino Pier, Funky Stadium, and heck, They could even make a brand new one that's based on the Switch. We haven't had like one of those type of ones since the DS. And there we go. That's my thoughts and predictions for the future of the Booster Course Pass. So if you did enjoy watching, let me know what you think was happening to the rest of the Booster Course Pass. If I missed anything. I know I missed modes, but I don't think Nintendo will put any new modes in this and not the rest of the people that don't own the Booster Course Pass. I reckon they'll save that for Mario Kart 9, loads of modes and stuff. I'm hoping Nintendo's got that planned, because it's been years. I'm starving, Nintendo. Please give me a next Mario Kart, please, please, please.